Chevron Corporation is an American multinational energy corporation, one of the successor companies of Standard Oil. It is headquartered in San Ramon, California, and active in more than 180 countries. Chevron is engaged in every aspect of the oil, natural gas, and geothermal energy industries, including hydrocarbon exploration and production, refining, marketing and transport, chemicals manufacturing and sales, and power generation. Chevron is one of the world's largest oil companies. As of 2014, it ranked third in the Fortune 500 list of the top U.S. closely held public corporations and 16th on the Fortune Global 500 list of the top 500 corporations worldwide. It was also one of the seven sisters that dominated the global petroleum industry from the mid-1940s to the 1970s. Chevron's downstream operations manufacture and sell products such as fuels, lubricants, additives, and petrochemicals. The company's most significant areas of operations are the west coast of North America, the U.S. Gulf Coast, Southeast Asia, South Korea, Australia, and South Africa. In 2010, Chevron sold an average 3.1 million barrels per day of refined products like gasoline, diesel and jet fuel. Chevron's alternative energy operations include geothermal, solar, wind power, biofuel, fuel cells, and hydrogen. In 2011 to 2013, the company planned to spend at least $2 billion on research and acquisition of renewable power ventures. Chevron has claimed to be the world's largest producer of geothermal energy. In October 2011, Chevron launched a 29 MW thermal solar-to-steam facility in the Kalinga field to produce the steam for enhanced oil recovery. The project is the largest of its kind in the world. History predecessors. One of Chevron's early predecessors, Star Oil, discovered oil at the Pico Canyon oil field in the Santa Susana Mountains north of Los Angeles in 1876. The 25 barrels of oil per day well marked the discovery of the Newhall field, and is considered by geophysicist Marius Vassiliou as the beginning of the modern oil industry in California. Energy analyst Antonio Uas has said that while Star Oil's founders were influential in establishing an oil industry in California, Union Matley Company discovered oil in the state 11 years prior. In September 1879, Charles N. Felton, Lloyd Tevis, George Loomis and others created the Pacific Coast Oil Company, which acquired the assets of Star Oil with $1 million in funding. Pacific Coast Oil became the largest oil interest in California by time it was acquired by Standard Oil for $761,000 in 1900. Pacific Coast operated independently and retained its name until 1906, when it was merged with the Standard Oil subsidiary and it became Standard Oil Company, a California standard. Another predecessor, Texas Fuel Company, was founded in 1901 in Beaumont, Texas as an oil equipment vendor by Buckskin Joe. The founder's nickname came from being harsh and aggressive. Texas Fuel worked closely with Chevron. In 1936 it formed a joint venture with California Standard named Caltex to drill and produce oil in Saudi Arabia, according to energy analyst and activist shareholder Antonio Ujas. The Texas Fuel Company and California Standard were often referred to as the terrible twins for the cutthroat business practices. The Texas Fuel Company was renamed the Texas Company, and later renamed Texaco. Formation of the Chevron name in 1911, Standard Oil Co. was severed from its parent corporation, Standard Oil, as a result of the federal government's successful lawsuit against Standard Oil under the Sherman Antitrust Act. It went on to become part of the Seven Sisters, which dominated the world oil industry in the early 20th century. In 1926, the company changed its name to Standard Oil Co. of California. By the terms of the breakup of Standard Oil, Standard of California could use the Standard name only within its original geographic area of the Pacific Coast states, plus Nevada and Arizona. Outside that area, it had to use another name. The Chevron name came into use for some of its retail products in the 1930s. The name Calso was also used from 1946 to 1955 in states outside its native West Coast territory. Standard Oil Company of California ranked 75th among United States corporations in the value of World War II military production contracts. In 1933, Saudi Arabia granted California Standard a concession to find oil, which led to the discovery of oil in 1938. In 1948, California Standard discovered the world's largest oil field in Saudi Arabia, Gawa Field. California Standard's subsidiary, California Arabian Standard Oil Company, grew over the years and became the Arabian American Oil Company in 1944. In 1973, the Saudi government began buying into Aramco. By 1980, the company was entirely owned by the Saudis, and in 1988, its name was changed to Saudi Arabian Oil Company. Saudi Aramco, Standard Oil of California and Gulf Oil merged in 1984, which was the largest merger in history at the time. To comply with U.S. antitrust law, California Standard divested many of Gulf's operating subsidiaries, and sold some Gulf stations and a refinery in the eastern United States. Among the assets sold off were Gulf's retail outlets in Gulf's home market of Pittsburgh, where Chevron lacks a retail presence but does retain a regional headquarters there as of 2013, partially for Marcellus shale-related drilling. The same year, Standard Oil of California also took the opportunity to change its legal name to Chevron Corporation, since it had already been using the well-known Chevron retail brand name for decades. Chevron would sell the Gulf Oil trademarks for the entire U.S. to Cumberland Farms, the parent company of Gulf Oil LP. In 2010, after Cumberland Farms had a license to the Gulf trademark in the northeastern United States since 1986, in 1996 Chevron transferred its natural gas gathering, operating and marketing operation to NGC Corporation in exchange for a roughly 25% equity stake in NGC. In a merger completed February 1, 2000, Lenovo Corp. became a wholly owned subsidiary of Dynegy Inc. and Chevron's stake increased up to 28%. However, in May 2007 Chevron sold its stake in the company for approximately $985 million, resulting in a gain of $680 million. Merger with Texaco and post-merger. On October 15, 2000, Chevron announced acquisition of Texaco in a deal valued at $45 billion, creating the second largest oil company in the United States and the world's fourth largest publicly traded oil company with a combined market value of approximately $95 billion. The merged company was named Chevron Texaco. On May 9, 2005, Chevron Texaco announced it would drop the Texaco moniker and return to the Chevron name. Texaco remained as a brand under the Chevron Corporation. On October 10, 2001, Texaco purchased General Motors' share in GM Ovonics, which in 2003 was restructured into Cobasys, a 50/50 joint venture between Chevron and energy conversion propulsion devices avionics. In 2009, both Chevron and Energy Conservation Devices sold the stakes in Cobasys to SB Limotive Co. In 2005, Chevron purchased Untitled Corporation for $18.4 billion, increasing the company's petroleum and natural gas reserves by about 15%. Because of Untitled's large Southeast Asian geothermal operations, Chevron became a large producer of geothermal energy. Chevron and the Los Alamos National Laboratory started a cooperation in 2006 to improve the recovery of hydrocarbons from oil shale by developing a shale oil extraction process named Chevron Crush. In 2006, the United States Department of the Interior issued a research, development and demonstration lease for Chevron's demonstration oil shale project on public lands in Colorado's Piceance Basin. In February 2012, Chevron notified the Bureau of Land Management and the Department of Reclamation, Mining and Safety that it intends to divest this lease. In July 2011, Chevron ended retail operations in the Mid-Atlantic United States, removing the Chevron and Texaco names from 1,100 stations. In 2011, Chevron acquired Pennsylvania-based Atlas Energy Inc. for $3.2 billion in cash and an additional $1.1 billion in existing debt owed by Atlas. 3 months later, Chevron acquired drilling and development rights for another 228,000 acres in the Marcellus Shale from Chief Oil and AMP Gas LLC in Tug Hill, Inc. In September 2013, Total S.A. and its joint venture partner agreed to buy Chevron's retail distribution business in Pakistan for an undisclosed amount. In October 2014, Chevron announced that it would sell a 30% holding in its Canadian oil shale holdings to Kuwait state-owned oil company Kuwait Oil Company, for a fee of $1.5 billion. Operations. Chevron employs approximately 62,000 people. In October 2015, Chevron announced that it is cutting up to 7,000 jobs, or 11% of its workforce. Upstream. Chevron's oil and gas exploration and production operations are primarily in the U.S., Australia, Nigeria, Angola, Kazakhstan, and the Gulf of Mexico. As of December 31, 2010, the company had 10.545 billion barrels of oil equivalent net proved reserves. Daily production in 2010 was 2.763 million barrels per day. In the United States, the company operates approximately 11,000 oil and natural gas wells in hundreds of fields occupying 4 million acres across the Permian Basin, located in West Texas and southeastern New Mexico. In 2010, Chevron was the fourth largest producer in the region. In February 2011, Chevron celebrated the production of its 5 billionth barrel of Permian Basin oil. The Gulf of Mexico is where the company's deepest offshore drilling takes place at Tahiti and Blind Faith. It also explores and drills the Marcellus Shale formation under several northeastern U.S. states. Chevron's largest single resource project is the $43 billion Gorgon gas project in Australia. It also produces natural gas from Western Australia. The $43 billion project was started in 2010 and was expected to be brought online in 2014. The project includes construction of a 15 million ton per annum liquefied natural gas plant on Barrow Island, and a domestic gas plant with the capacity to provide 300 terajoules per day to supply gas to Western Australia. It is also developing the Wheatstone liquefied natural gas development in Western Australia. The foundation phase of the project is estimated to cost $29 billion. It will consist of 2 LNG processing trains with a combined capacity of 8.9 million tons per annum, a domestic gas plant and associated offshore infrastructure. In August 2014, a significant gas condensate discovery at the Lasset-1 exploration well in WA274P in Western Australia, in which Chevron has a 50% interest, was announced. In the onshore and near-offshore regions of the Niger Delta, Chevron operates under joint venture with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, operating and holding a 40% interest in 13 concessions in the region. In addition, Chevron operates the Escravos gas plant and the Escravos gas to liquids plant. Chevron has interests in 4 concessions in Angola, including offshore 2 concessions in Cabinda Province, the Tomboa-Landana development and the Mafumera Norte project, operated by the company. It is also a leading partner in Angola LNG plant. In Kazakhstan, Chevron participated the Tengiz and Karachaganak projects. In 2010, Chevron became the largest private shareholder in the Caspian Pipeline Consortium pipeline, which transports oil from the Caspian Sea to the Black Sea. As of 2013, the Rosebank oil and gas field west of Shetland was being evaluated by Chevron and its partners. Chevron drilled its discovery well there in 2004. Production is expected in 2015 if a decision is made to produce from the field. The geology and weather conditions are challenging. Downstream Chevron's downstream operations manufacture and sell products such as fuels, lubricants, additives and petrochemicals. The company's most significant areas of operations are the west coast of North America, the U.S. Gulf Coast, Southeast Asia, South Korea, Australia, and South Africa. In 2010, Chevron sold an average 3.1 million barrels per day of refined products like gasoline, diesel and jet fuel. The company operates approximately 19,550 retail sites in 84 countries. The company also has interests in 13 power-generating assets in the United States and Asia and has gas stations in Western Canada. Chevron is the owner of the Standard Oil trademark in 16 states in the western and southeastern U.S. To maintain ownership of the mark, the company owns and operates one Standard-branded Chevron station in each state of the area. Additionally, Chevron owns the trademark rights to Texaco and Caltex fuel in lubricant products. In 2010, Chevron processed 1.9 million barrels per day of crude oil. It owns and operates 5 active refineries in the United States, 1 in Cape Town, South Africa, and 1 in Burnaby, British Columbia. Chevron is the non-operating partner in 7 joint venture refineries located in Australia, Pakistan, Singapore, Thailand, South Korea, and New Zealand. Chevron's United States refineries are located in Gulf and Western states. Chevron also owns an asphalt refinery in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. However, since early 2008 that refinery has primarily operated as a terminal. Chevron's chemicals business includes 50% ownership in the Chevron Phillips Chemical Company, which manufactures petrochemicals, and the Chevron Oronite Company, which develops, manufactures and sells fuel in lubricant additives. Chevron Shipping Company, a wholly owned subsidiary, provides the maritime transport operations, marine consulting services and marine risk management services for Chevron Corporation. Chevron ships historically had names beginning with Chevron, such as Chevron Washington and Chevron South America, or were named after former serving directors of the company. Samuel Ginn, William E. Crane, Kenneth Dare, Richard Matsky and most notably Condoleezza Rice were among those honored, but the ship named after Rice was subsequently renamed as Altair Voyager. Alternative energy. The Chevron's alternative energy operations include geothermal, solar, wind, biofuel, fuel cells, and hydrogen. Chevron has claimed to be the world's largest producer of geothermal energy. The company's geothermal operations are primarily located in Southeast Asia. Chevron operates geothermal wells in Indonesia, providing power to Jakarta and the surrounding area. In the Philippines, Chevron also operates geothermal wells at Tiwi Field in Albay Province, the Macling-Banahor Field in Laguna and Quezon Provinces. In 2007, Chevron and the United States Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory started collaboration to develop and produce algae fuel, which could be converted into transportation fuels, such as jet fuel. In 2008, Chevron and Waha User created Catchlight Energy LLC, which researches the conversion of cellulose-based biomass into biofuels. In 2013, the Catchlight plan was downsized due to competition with fossil fuel projects for funds. Between 2006 and 2011, Chevron contributed up to $12 million to a strategic research alliance with the Georgia Institute of Technology to develop cellulosic biofuels and to create a process to convert biomass like wood or switchgrass into fuels. Additionally, Chevron holds a 22% stake in Galveston Bay Biodiesel LP, which produces up to 110 million U.S. gallons of renewable biodiesel fuel a year. In 2010, the Chevron announced a 740 kilowatts photovoltaic demonstration project in Bakersfield, California, called Project Brightfield, for exploring possibilities to use solar power for powering Chevron's facilities. It consists of technologies from 7 companies, which Chevron is evaluating for large-scale use. In Fellows, California, Chevron has invested in the 500 kilowatts SolarMean photovoltaic solar project, which supplies daytime power to the Midway Sunset oil field. In Cuesta, Chevron has built a 1 megawatt concentrated photovoltaic plant that comprises 173 solar arrays, which use Fresnel lenses. In October 2011, Chevron launched a 29 MW thermal solar-to-steam facility in the Kalinga field to produce the steam for enhanced oil recovery. As of 2012, the project is the largest of its kind in the world. In 2014, Chevron began reducing its investment in renewable energy technologies, reducing headcount and selling alternative energy-related assets. Corporate affairs. Finance. For the fiscal year 2011, Chevron reported earnings of $26.9 billion, with an annual revenue of $257.3 billion, an increase of 23.3% over the previous fiscal cycle. Chevron's shares traded at over $105 per share, and its market capitalization was valued at over $240 billion. Headquarters. Chevron's corporate headquarters are located in a 92-acre campus in San Ramon, California. The company moved from its earlier headquarters at 555 Market Street in San Francisco, California, where it was located since its inception in 1879. Chevron also operates from office hours in Houston, Texas, where it leased the 1500 Louisiana Street and 1400 Smith Street from former Texas energy giant Enron. Chevron is also planning a new office tower in downtown Houston next to its existing properties at 1600 Louisiana Street. The building will stand 50 stories and 832 feet. Upon completion, it'll be the fourth tallest building in Houston and the first 50-story building constructed there in nearly 30 years. Political contributions. Since January 2011, Chevron has contributed almost $15 million on Washington lobbying. On October 7, 2012, Chevron donated $2.5 million to the Republican Congressional Leadership Fund super PAC that is closely tied to former House Speaker John Boehner. Board of Directors. Condoleezza Rice is a former member of the Board of Directors, and also headed Chevron's Committee on Public Policy until she resigned on January 15, 2001, to become National Security Advisor to President George W. Bush. On September 30, 2009, John Watson, aged 52, was elected Chairman of the Board and CEO, effective at the December 31, 2009 retirement of David J. O'Reilly. Niger Delta Partnership Initiative. In 2010, Chevron established the Niger Delta Partnership Initiative, a non-profit that works with local organizations to promote economic growth, reduce HIV transmission rates, and empower women. The initiative was initially funded with a $50 million grant. An additional $40 million was donated in 2013.